Welcome to the Real Mama Pod.
I'm your host, Devin.
And I'm your host, Kendra.
We are real moms.
Sharing real experiences. The things people don't tell you.
Hey, mama, hey.
Hey, mama, hey.
How you doing, friend?
I'm feeling good. How are you?
Girl, you're looking good. Looking
Ooh,
like
baby,
you're on somebody's
listen.
island.
Don't threaten me, honey, because I will show up on that island.
Girl.
You won't see me next week?
I'm not mad at Well, you need to be here next week, okay?
I really do, though.
First of all,
I really
you ain't
do.
going nowhere without me. So
You're right,
let's
friend.
make that clear.
Unless it's with my husband.
Well, if this is your first time listening, I'm your host, Devin.
I'm your host, Kendra. Welcome to the Real Mama Pod.
As y'all can see, we have two beautiful guests. The perfect mama and daughter duo.
Yes.
Allison and
Beautiful.
Cindy, Miss
Thank
Cindy.
you.
But before we get into their interview, we have a review. So y'all been listening to me. I guess y'all are tired of hearing me fuss. So thank you for writing this review. Also, we're trying to chart, like we're giving you the aesthetics. We don't upgrade the pod. We need the reviews. It helps us grow. We're trying to be a household name. So thank you for writing them. The DMs are great. The text messages are great, but the reviews is what matters in Apple.
Yes,
so
indeed.
Thank you. So this is from Get Ask with a K. Okay. What an amazing podcast. Two beautiful women who are passionate about their work are out here helping others share their stories on their amazing platform. I'm really looking forward to tuning in every week. I highly recommend this podcast. Kendra and Dev are amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. We
Thank you.
appreciate that. Thank you so much for leaving that review. So, back to our beautiful guests. Like I was telling you all, we have Allison and Cindy here. They are a mama and daughter duo. They have their own podcast. Allison is in the content creation world, dropping all the hottest, latest things, telling us the next things we need to buy. She is a basketball wife.
She's our friend on social media.
Yeah, she is our friend. She was our mama crush. It was a lot going on up in there. So we was like, listen, this podcast you got with your mom is real lit. Like, we need this on the show. Our first season, we did an interview with our mamas, and that was a hot mess in a good way.
It was so funny.
It was hilarious.
I know.
We definitely need to redo their episode on our platform now. But we were like, we need this perspective because a lot of times you don't see this perspective, especially in our generation. There's a lot of like tension between mamas and daughters and, you know, generational curses. And you guys are very open about that.
Yes.
So we need this on our platform. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you both for being here.
Yeah, we're so happy to have y'all. So we have a lot of questions, so we're gonna get right into it. I hope y'all ready. I hope
She's like, let's go. Like,
Mama Cindy
go.
ready, honey. She was like, I don't hold nothing back. She was like, that's what we want.
Yes,
honey.
it's the real
This the
mama.
filter over
no
here.
filter. Ain't no filter. So can you all briefly tell us about your journey into mamahood?
Well, I think you should go first because without your journey, there would not be my journey. So.
That is true. You know, initially growing up, I never really thought about having kids and getting married and all that stuff. But then when I met the love of my life, it happened naturally. I went through years of having endometriosis, and my doctor had actually told me that he didn't think I could get pregnant. So when I did get pregnant and I go to him, he's like, yeah, sure you are. And I was like, no, really, I am. So, you know, then this is my little miracle. I started having preterm labor from like 3 months on.
Wow.
Had to be on complete bed rest. But then when she was born, she was perfectly healthy. And it's been nothing but a blessing since then.
I have endometriosis.
It's a beast. It really is.
I just learned that I have it this year. Yeah, and I didn't have any symptoms of it until I had an ectopic pregnancy. And they learned that the ectopic was caused because of endometriosis.
Yes.
I don't have any symptoms or side effects of it, but I do have it.
Yeah.
So
Well, good luck, because it can be a beast.
thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, for sure. How about you, Allison?
My journey to motherhood actually quite different from my mother's. I was the little girl who like always wanted to be a mom. Like my friends were like, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. I want to be this. I was like, y'all can have that. Like I'm gonna just have some babies. I wanna be a mom. I always had dolls and all that. Always wanted to be a mother. My husband and I, though, after we got married, really enjoyed it just being us. And so we were married for like 5 years before we even thought about having kids. And then, you know, one day I remember we were actually in Phuket, me and my mom, with a group of girlfriends, and we had been traveling for a few years, just kind of living our best lives. And I woke up and I was like, this isn't doing it for me anymore. I want a baby. And just like that, my husband and I started trying. It did take us a few months to conceive my daughter because I actually was diagnosed with a brain tumor, like in the midst of us trying to conceive, had brain surgery. Thank God that was just a comma in my story and not a period. And the rest was kind of history when it came to the brain tumor. And I got pregnant with Harper, who is 4. And we now also have Jackson, who is 2.
Oh,
Wow. So you both have 2 unique stories
Yes.
on your journeys.
Yes.
So our first question, or second rather, Miss Cindy.
Yes.
So when Devin did you all's introduction, she talked about how some of your podcast talks about breaking generational curses and really being mindful about the relationship that the 2 of you have. And Miss Cindy, from what I understand, you and your mother, you know, did not always have the best relationship.
Right.
When you think about your experience, how does that impact the way you mothered Allison, but also the way that you carry yourself as a grandmother to your grandchildren?
It made me, with Allison, want to do basically the complete opposite. Because for me, I knew what I wanted growing up and the things that I was missing. So I made sure that she did not go through those same things. You know, I wanted her to feel like she was a blessing more so than a curse. I wanted my grandchildren to feel like they are blessings. So, you know, every day, and even now with Allison being in her 30s, you know, I tell her every day that I love her. I tell her that I'm proud of her. You know, I still, you know, give her trinkets like when she was little to let her know, you know, you're doing great. I'm proud of you. I love you. You know, you are everything. And I do the same thing with the grandkids. Probably to my detriment, because Allison and DJ are both like, okay,
No more toys.
mommy, you know, enough. But I just believe in, you know, like I said, I wanted that mother that you saw on TV so badly, or even just to feel that love. I wanted to feel like somebody loved me, that I was here for a reason, and not getting that. How can I then make my child feel that way? So I wanted to always, always, always let her know, you are my greatest accomplishment in life.
And I mean, I just have to say that you, Mom, did an amazing job doing
thank you,
that,
baby.
because she's not lying. Still, you guys, like to this day, I will get random text messages at like 10 p.m. like, hey, like, I just wanted to let you know that like you are everything I could have wanted in a daughter. Like just like the sweetest, most thoughtful things. So although I, of course, like hate that you went through what you did with your mother, I am so thankful that you used that as like fuel to be such an amazing mom to me.
Thank you.
And their energy
Thank
is
you.
like, you can feel
Yeah,
it.
you can feel it.
When I met you all in person for the first time here, I can just see the connection that y'all have.
so cute.
And it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful to see and to hear more.
Well, not just being my daughter, I genuinely like her as a person.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is my, you know, she calls Harper her little broke bestie. She's my big broke bestie.
Yeah, and I feel like as we grow older, as you know, as young ladies, we become adults. While we still have our mothers, and you know, you have these boundaries that are set as mother and daughter, your mother kind of comes your friend a little bit. It's like my mom, she'll say, I'm not one of your little friends, but she also treats me like one of her little friends. It's like, let's be real. If she got tea, she'll call me, hey girl, guess girl. You know, that you're not calling your daughter, you know, in quote, with tea. Like, but let's talk about it. What's up?
Yeah.
Like, what's good?
I always hated when parents were like, oh, I can't, I'm not going to be friends with my kid. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand that perception of
And
not
she's
being
really
friends.
always been both to me. Like even when I was a teenager and, you know, going through things that a lot of girls don't talk about with their moms, I was always the first one like, okay, like mom, I got to tell you this because you got to tell me like how to handle this. Even like my friends to this day, they will like, you know, tell stories about all of us being at my house for a sleepover. And instead of doing whatever girls do at sleepovers, we're all sitting in my mom's bed, like talking to her about all the things going on in our teenage life. She was just that person for all of us, and she's still that person for me. So
Wow.
That was fun.
Yeah, I love that perspective. And so now you're talking about a friendship, but then you talk about being business partners. What is that like? How do y'all handle conflict, if it's any conflict, with being business partners? What does that look like?
you know, I don't really even consider her my business partner. I guess I should. And I think that what we do, like through our podcast and our, I guess, brand, as you have it, it just comes so naturally. And it's something that we do because we enjoy it. And like all the conversations that we have, you know, with a mic in front of us, we also have without the mic in front of us. And so it really has not until this point felt like a business. Now, in terms of handling conflict, we very rarely have conflict.
I don't remember.
And when we do, I think that we are both able to address it as like not like conflict. Like it's never been an argument. It's only been a discussion. You know?
But we're so similar and we think so much alike that, you know, there really is no conflict. The last time I can remember us having a conflict about anything was when Allison was in high school and I didn't like the guy that she was dating. And, you know, we talked about it. There came a point in time when, you know, I stopped giving her as much of an allowance as I was giving her because I felt like she was spending money on him. But other than that, that was it.
And like my mom is very matter of fact. And so like, I remember like in that conversation, she was like, basically like, you can do whatever you want with your little friend, but like, don't bring him around me.
I'm curious. What are your signs?
I'm a Libra.
And I'm a Virgo.
I knew it. I'm a Libra.
Okay.
When she said matter of fact, I said, I bet Mama Cindy is a Libra. And here we are.
It is what it is. You get what you get. So, you know.
I like that. So let's talk about boundaries, right? So y'all are obviously mother and daughter, but you are friends. You're really close. How do you all set boundaries with each other? Like you're married, you have your own family. You're married, you have your own family. But how do we set boundaries with one another?
I don't really think there are any boundaries. We talk about everything. You know, as my child and me being her mother, I don't get explicit about, you know, we talk about sex and with our spouses, but we don't get explicit about it. It's kind of like in general terms, because honestly, she's got more experience than I do. So sometimes I'm going to her.
What you trying to say?
I'm going to, you dated more than I did. That's what I meant. That's what I meant by that. But I'm like, okay, this was new to me. You know, I was married for, you know, like 20 years, then my husband passed away. Now I'm in this new marriage, and I'm like, this whole dating married thing, this is new to me. So I'm like, how do I maneuver this? So we have these discussions, but like I said, we don't get explicit about things, but it's very clear that, you know, we're women. You have sex if you're lucky, and, you know, life happens. So it's just a part of who we are.
Yeah. I think when I think boundaries, I think about like two things when it comes to especially like mother-daughter relationships. When it comes to the things that we discuss, my mom has always told me, like, since I was a little girl, like, there is nothing that is off the table. We can talk about any and everything, and we really do. But then on the flip side of that, when I think boundaries, you know, in mother-daughter relationships, I think about overbearing mothers and mothers that can kind of like be around too much. And my mom does a really good job at just like pretty much saying to me, hey, I'm gonna take a step back, you know, maybe that means I'm gonna go home, maybe that means I'm not gonna call you this weekend because I know that your husband got home, you know, this weekend, stuff like that. She'll say like, I'm gonna take a step back, I'm here if you need me. And so know that me taking a step back doesn't mean that I'm unavailable to you. It just means that I'm trying to give you your time and your space to like be a woman on your own, be a mother on your own, and live your life. Call me when you want to talk, and I'm here. And you know, I think that really helps me to not feel like my mom is just like always, you know, right here and allow me to move around, but also still feel like really supported. Like whenever I need my mama, I can always go to her. You know?
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
So when you're talking about having conflict with your spouse, right? For me, for example, and I think this is true for Ken too, like if me and my husband beefing, I'm not telling my mom, because then although she loves my husband, she doesn't love him the way I love him, right? And she may not forgive him the way I forgive him. Or my husband and I have been together since we were 19, right? We all did foolish stuff from 19 to mid-30s, right? So there's certain things I did not share with my mom because I knew like the consequence, I guess, that would come with that. So do y'all set that boundary with each other, or do y'all still look, he ain't do the dishes today, or he getting on my nerves, or whatever the case may be. What does that look like?
I think, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Mom.
Sure.
I think my mom probably sets that boundary with me. I think that there are probably things that happen in her marriage that maybe she doesn't share with me because I can be a little bit protective. I think with it being her second marriage and that not being my dad, I can kind of get a little bit like, wait, he did what? But on the flip side, I tell my mom pretty much everything, and my husband knows that I tell her everything, and so he moves accordingly because he doesn't want to die.
Oh, I threatened it. I told him a long time ago. I'm going to throw you off this balcony.
Also, we've been together since I was 17, going on 18, and there have been times where I have gone to my mom with a conflict, and she has straight up taken his side. She is really good at correcting both of us.
Okay.
She is very, 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 very close to him and calls him her son. And so at this point, when I do go to her, I know that there's a good chance that if I'm wrong or if I did something that caused the conflict, that she's going to say, okay, I see what you're saying. However,
You were dead wrong.
Comma.
That's the Libra in you, Miss Cindy. That's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Even when we love you, it's like, yeah, I love you, and that wasn't right.
Yeah.
That wasn't right.
you know, I just call it how I see it, though. Like I said, you know, I love my child to death. I also love DJ. You know, when they started dating, I think she came home crying once, and I was like, okay, this is one. She only has 2 more times to come home crying over you. I'm going to give you, 3 because y'all are young. Y'all trying to figure everything out. After that 3rd time,
Right.
I'm going to throw you over this balcony.
Well, I won't want to mess up then
I
either.
know.
So,
At that point.
this is my baby. I'm like, she is basically, on loan to you. But if you ever get done, I need for you to return her the way I gave her to you, without her spirit broken, without a mark on her, all these things. Because if any of this changes, we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your baby.
Yeah.
So I do have a clarifying question too.
Go ahead.
Because I know I'm all over the place, but when you talked about sex with your daughter, especially in those teen years, like what did that conversation look like? Because I know for our generation, like the things my mom told me was just not okay. She used like the scared tactic, and I know you mentioned
My
your mom
mom
didn't talk to you
really
at all.
talk to me,
So we
yeah.
had 2 drastic things where we're like figuring it out either ourselves or with our friend. And even though my mom told me at the end, you can tell me, I didn't want to tell you because you told me XYZ, and now I'm afraid to tell you
Right.
because now I think I got something. So, what did that look like? How did you have that conversation with her? And then Allison, like when that happened, were you comfortable enough to tell your mom before, during, or after, like, hey mom, I did it,
I was always open and honest with Allison. I wanted to give her whatever information her maturity level could handle at that time.
Okay.
So when she would come to me with a question, I didn't pull any punches.
Right.
I told her straight off the bat, Allison's generation, making out for them was like oral, having oral.
I gotta just say too, like I went to a school that was majority white, and so I feel like that shouldn't matter in the conversation, but
it kind of does.
did because
There's
there
context.
were things
Yeah.
that were going on that were just different.
Yeah. But I mean, they were giving oral like they were doing a good night kiss or whatever.
Okay.
And so I, came to her and with her again and her little group of friends, that in my bed or whatever, and I'm like, look, if y'all are gonna do this, I'm gonna tell you a few things. Number 1, get yours first,
She literally said that.
because I guarantee if you don't get yours first and you do him, he's gonna come back. Ew, I don't do that. So get yours first.
She literally said that.
And if you're going to do that, let me get you some fruit flavored condoms so you don't get no shit in your mouth.
I'm not mad at that. 'Cause
Right.
them little boys nasty at that age.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and
I
I,
mean,
was
they
like,
nasty.
They
It's
really-
grown
they're
man
I was
nasty,
stuff.
period.
completely open and honest with her. If this is what you're gonna do, I want you to have the correct information.
Yes, because it's gonna happen whether
Right.
you have the conversation
Exactly.
or not.
And especially once your child starts driving, you lose control
Yeah.
at that point. And I was always with her, telling her, never lie to me and say you're going over here and you go over there, because if something happens, number 1, I can't find you. Number 2, I can't fix it.
Yeah.
So let me know exactly what you're doing, and then we will discuss, do whatever we need to do to figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always asking questions, about sex growing up. I think that, I mean, rightfully so, it's something that comes up a lot
Yeah.
as you're trying to learn. And my mom would always answer them honestly to make sure that I got, you know, the correct information in a way that was age appropriate. By the time I was about 14 or 15, I feel like she was answering them 100% because I feel like she already knew it's all out there now.
Yeah.
Like, you already know everything. So now let's talk about the nitty gritty. And she did verbatim tell me very young, get yours first because, you know, that's the only way to make sure that you are taken care of. I remember being probably about 15 and being like in what I thought was a serious relationship and going to her and telling her that like I hadn't done it yet, but I was considering it. And she was like, do you want to get on birth control? I said yes. And like, you know, she walked me through that. Like, I started going to the gynecologist. Like, she knew there was no secrets, none of that. And I know that once I actually lost my virginity, my mom, I don't really understand how she moves like this, and she still to this day, I didn't tell her, but it wasn't because I didn't think I could. I think I was just trying to process it, but she knew because she told me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was
My
like,
mom says she knew
I know
too.
that she's like, I know you lost your virginity. Like, how was it? I'm like, whoa, what? And so then, of course, we did have a conversation, and you know, I feel like a lot of young girls, I was like, I'm never doing that again, like, you know, that type of thing. And she was like, okay, like when you are ready to go again, if you want to talk about it beforehand, so maybe we can help to make it, you know, a little
More
bit
enjoyable.
better for you, we can. She was like, I would prefer that you wait to do it again until you are a little bit older, but if you're not, you know, let me know and maybe we can have a conversation to help you out with that.
Right.
Wow.
So-
Wow. That's therapeutic.
I
right
know
there.
because my mama, I don't even know if she.
My mom
No,
said
I've
she
had
knew.
sex.
She said my whole attitude changed. She said I
Really?
thought I was a grown woman.
How did you know, Mom?
That's a thank you for
Yeah.
that
I don't know,
follow up.
just I've always just been so in tune to you.
Yeah.
I know you. Even now at 30 something, when you're sick, I can wake up in the middle of the night and being like, Allison's not feeling well. Or I'm
Mother's
just
intuition.
so in tune to you, and I could just tell.
Your mama.
Yes, Mama
Yeah.
Bear.
So, Allison, you are a basketball wife.
I am.
And I'm sure there's a lot of village that's needed to support you. What does your village look like, and how does your mom contribute to your village and your lifestyle,
Yeah.
essentially?
So there have been seasons of my life where my mom is my village. For example, when I was pregnant with my son, my husband was in Japan for the basketball season, and it's me, my daughter who's 2 at the time, and my mom. My mom came to every doctor's appointment with me. Like, honestly, if people didn't know, they probably thought we were a couple. Like, because she was showing up at all the places that usually, you know, a significant other would. She was my village 100%, and she still is an integral part in my village. I try to now give her a little bit of space to live her life because she's also a woman who has a husband and, you know, wants to live that and not just be my mom solely. And so I also have a ton of other women, mostly women, in my village. I am blessed where I also have someone else that I consider a mother to me. My dad was married once before he married my mom, and I don't know how y'all worked that out, but they are like blended family goals where I also consider his ex-wife like a mom to me.
Yeah, she's
And so
Allison's godmother.
she's actually with my kids right now. So
Wow.
like, you know,
Yeah.
she is an integral part in my village as well. And, you know, my husband is away a lot. And so I find myself having to just lean on others a lot when it comes to like raising kids because there's only so much that I can do. I really try to be super mama and wear all the hats, but there's only so many hours in the day. So, yeah.
And I tell you all the time, though, you know, rely on your village. Allison is a lot like me, and sometimes it's difficult for her to ask for help.
Oh, yes.
So usually, you know, when I walk into her house, if I see there are dishes that need to be done, I'm not going to ask or I'm just going to do them. If there's laundry to be folded, I'm going to do it. So you don't sometimes have to ask, but if you see a need there, then you just do it. And like I said, I'm always going to be her mama.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
just because I live in Boston primarily now. Again, we're going to see how this is going to work out. I don't envision it working out well. But, you know, even with me being there, though, I'll tell her I'm just a phone call away.
Yes.
Her burglar alarm went off the other night, and I was in Boston, and it was like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning in Dubai where DJ is. So she called me. Yeah, I'm in Boston, but I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay on the phone with you until
Right.
the police come or, something happens. So I make sure everything is okay.
Yes.
But that's once a mommy, always a mommy.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how has your husband blended in with all of this?
He is very big on family.
Okay.
So, he has no problem with it. He does think that our relationship is strange.
I please tell them that he thinks it's weird.
Yeah, he thinks our relationship is weird. But I'm like, men are just cut differently.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but this is my child. This is my heartbeat. I'm always going to be here for her. If you have a problem with it, then that's the door right there, because this is where I'm always going to be. So, I try to make sure that I make time for him and incorporate him in things, but he knows that the buck stops with Allison. There's nothing he can say to me to make me be like, oh, Allison, I can't do X, Y, and Z, because no, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
So how do y'all keep the spark in y'all's relationships with your husbands?
And being so, y'all
Yes.
being so close.
Derek and I, we do date nights, and sometimes they are at home date nights, sometimes out. But some of our best conversations are at home. We're watching Grey's Anatomy, and some little something will spark something, and we'll end up muting the TV, having this in-depth conversation about X, Y, and Z, whatever. Derek, we talk openly about sex goals. We're having not enough, too much, whatever it is. So we talk a lot. I'm also a big proponent I like to play like games.
Yes.
There are a lot of those conversation starter games that you have out now. We do that a lot, drinking wine. Here recently, it was so funny. We were out and he got up to go to the restroom. So he came back and I was like, excuse me, how are you just going to walk here and have a seat at my table? Do I know you? And it took him a few minutes to figure out what I was doing. So he's like, I was like, well, my name is Simone and blah, blah, blah. So he finally caught on. I think his name ended up being Mark or whatever. But, we did this little play acting thing. So it's just stuff like that. Just to keep things a little bit spicy.
I love that. Yes,
I'm about to try that. Say, hey.
I'm like, what is wrong with you? Did you have something to drink?
I will say, I think my mom taught me a lot when it comes to keeping the spark alive, because my answers are pretty much the same as hers. We're just very intentional. We talk a lot. However, me and my husband are in a weird season right now where we have two small kids, two needy kids, and so people often say put your marriage first. That's easier said than done when you have two really small, really needy
and babies
kids.
can smell sex.
They
I don't know
can.
what it is. They can smell sex.
Yeah,
It
they're
ain't
cock
happening.
blockers.
It ain't happening. They can smell it.
So, in this season, me and my husband really just try to make sure that we are having fun with each other, and we let the rest follow. So even if it is a tough day, both kids had diarrhea, somebody threw up, we're going to crack jokes while we're cleaning up this mess.
Yeah.
And have fun with it, and I think that goes a long way.
have to.
You have to. That's the only way to get
Because that's the
through.
reality.
Yeah.
I think it also helps too when you generally like the person that you're with.
Yes.
That's
You're
true.
not. This is not only my spouse, but also my friend.
Friend.
Yeah.
I mean, Derek and I would go to a club, and we're sitting in a corner talking about people all night.
Yeah.
We just gossiping. We just he gossiping
Yeah.
like two old hens. But I mean, that's
cute.
who we are. This
Yeah.
is fun.
That he's
Yeah.
your friend.
Yeah, he's your friend. You have
Yes.
to be friends first.
You do.
You do. You really have to be friends first. So, question for you, clarifying question, because, being a basketball wife has this stigma, right? We see the show and it's always the other girls. Is it like that overseas? Where you need to have somebody watching out for your man because, you, like you said, you have two small kids. It's this stigma around athletes and all this other, and they don't always care about the wife or the kids that are back at home. They just see this eye candy and this status and this money that they want to be attached to.
Yeah.
So is that a thing overseas, one? And then how do you deal with all that if it is?
Y'all, hoes will be hoes. Regardless of the area code, country code, whatever, it does not matter.
The area code
The
or
area
the country code.
whether you're a one or a two.
So, it definitely is a thing. There are definitely women out there that see ball players and think money or think, oh, he can give me this type of lifestyle. whatever, what have you. I think when it comes to my particular marriage, me and my husband have been together for a long time, and we've been through a lot. I think that any couple who's been together since college, you went through some stuff in college, like you just did. At this point, I don't so much worry about it, just because I feel like both of us have gotten all that stuff out of our system very early on, and also I think that we are just very mature and able to communicate if anything is coming up that is you're not getting your needs met, anything like that. We're able to talk about it first. However, the hoes are still going to be hoes, and I mean there are occasions where girls will slide into his DMs, like things like that. I just have faith in my marriage and faith in my husband, so I choose not to let that stress me out, because I think that he values his marriage and values his family, you know, over everything. But it is absolutely like that, to answer your question.
It's just I mean, hoes will be hoes.
And different area codes
and
or
country codes.
That's a song.
Right. We might have to hit Ludacris. And
right.
Who was that? Nate Dogg. Rest in peace, Nate Dogg.
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple more questions for y'all. So Allison, you and your mom are obviously very close. I really admire your relationship. But you also have a daughter.
I do.
And do you see yourself, do you want the same for you and your daughter as you have with your mom? And is there anything you would do differently? Like, what do you want that relationship to bloom into?
So when I found out I was having a daughter, I was like over the moon excited about like just the thought of us being this like multi-generational, like, you know, grandmother, mommy, daughter, this whole thing. And then when I got pregnant again, I was terrified that I was going to have another girl, because in my head, while I know there are plenty of people who have multiple daughters and are close with all of them, in my head, like, this could only work if I just had one daughter. So, I mean, I got lucky. My other one is a boy, so she is my only daughter, and I absolutely want to replicate the relationship in terms of, you know, her knowing that she can come to me about anything, her knowing that I'm always in her corner, her knowing that there's no question that she can't ask, and her being like, feeling like she's unconditionally loved and supported. The only thing that I would change, me and my mom have had conversations about this on and off our podcast, is that growing up, I did hear my mom talk bad about herself some, you know, and I feel like a lot of women, most of us do that. We can just be very hard on ourselves. And I try not to do that in front of my daughter, because I know how hard it was for me to hear my mom do that. And it still is. Like, because when I look at her, I'm like, girl, you are perfect. Like, you are the prototype.
So
not
amazing.
just physically, but, you know, also just in who you are. And so I know, you know, it was hard for me to hear that growing up. And so that's the one, literally the only thing that I'm trying to do differently is just trying to make sure that my daughter only hears me raise myself up instead of put myself down.
Yes, indeed. I can see y'all. Just, you know how they have those reels and these pictures of like grandma and then daughter and then granddaughter. Like I can see it already.
I'm sure you have tons of photo shoots.
Yeah.
And Harper and I are very, very close too. I mean, she's my little running partner. So, you know, she'll come to me and ask me, you know, questions that Allison did when she was little. And, you know, it's never a because I said so thing in the house ever. So I always explain stuff to her, and, you know, we sit and we talk about it. We draw together. Just all kinds of things. So I love continuing my relationship with Allison now through Harper.
Yes.
And seeing the wonder in her eyes. And then I see Harper sometimes watch the way that Allison and I interact. And then, you know, she comes and, you know, I'm going to be a part of that too.
Yes,
so
indeed.
it's great.
It's beautiful. I love
It
that.
really is.
So you all did an episode about aging parents. We have an episode about aging parents. It's definitely a hard transition. Seeing your parent be this person, right? And then transitioning into something else. And then, you know, we don't want to talk about it, but those final stages, right? Like you never not imagine being your parent being there. And I know you lost your dad, but you and your mom were very close. And it's just something hard to even imagine, right? Both our mothers experienced a lot of health issues within these last few years. And so it's just like, you're stuck in this like weird space of being like almost like a parent to your kids, but also a care provider for your parent, or just making decisions, making sure the paperwork is in line, making sure you have a power of attorney if anything was to happen, and learning things that you never thought you would be learning, right? Because not too many people have this conversation, and you don't want to have these conversations because they're uncomfortable. Like you don't want to imagine that. You get sad about it, and it's just like the way you guys discussed it on your podcast. I thought it was very beautiful, and I thought it would be helpful for our listeners to kind of hear that, because we got a lot of feedback from our episode too.
Yeah.
The how do I initiate this conversation without, one, offending you, and two, like, I'm creating a plan, because I'm really not, but I also need to be prepared. So if you guys can give us some tips on, the dialogue that you had, I think it was a very healthy conversation, and I think more people need to hear it.
Yeah. It is very hard. I feel like the three of us are around the same age, and so our parents are probably, around that age. And I feel like you said, in the last couple of years, it was like, for me, my mom looks great, and, she will continue to look great, but she went from being like invincible to like, like she was Superwoman to like, oh wow, like she's slowing down a little bit. And for me, that was like very eye-opening.
Yes.
The first thing is that I had to take a look at how much I was putting on her, right? To make sure that it wasn't too much for her to carry. And then I think that's like where the conversation began, because at first she was kind of like, why are you acting like this towards me? Because I hadn't really communicated, hey, I feel like you're slowing down, and I'm trying to respect that and honor that and make sure I'm not putting too much onto you. And so I don't know, I think it's one of those things that it's very hard to talk about without putting in perspective that like we're only having this conversation because we know that unfortunately no one likes to say death, but like death is inevitable in all of our lives. And when this does eventually happen, it's going to rock my world like to its core. So let's make sure that we prepare literally everything that we possibly can.
Yeah. And that was my thing with Allison. I went through a period where I was just not feeling well, getting very tired all the time. And I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was. And I started going to the doctor and having labs done. Labs kept coming back abnormal and whatever. So I was like, okay, there's definitely something going on, but I don't know what it is.
Right.
And I can't do for her and the kids what I had been doing. So I need to make sure that she knows it's nothing that she has done. It's just the fact that I'm not feeling my best.
Right.
And I need to still make sure though that her village is in place.
Yeah.
And if God forbid something does happen to me, I know how close we are. So I know that's going to be heart-wrenching for her. So I don't want her on top of that then to try to make these plans for, sending her mom, to her final resting place. So let's go ahead. Let me tell you what it is I want. And also because I do have a husband now, I don't want there to be any conflict there.
Yeah.
So let me tell you exactly what it is I want so that the transition can be as smooth as possible, if there's any such thing.
Right.
Because I know when her dad died, I was like, I didn't know anything. And I was completely, I want to say unprepared, but I was. And it was just heart-wrenching for me to not only go through losing the love of my life, my kids have lost their father, but I still got to be strong for my kid, and I got to figure out everything because our lives have been turned upside down, but I don't want her, she's still in college, I don't want her life to be completely shattered. So it's just figuring all this stuff out, and it would have been so much easier if we had some kind of a plan in place.
Yes. And then I also think for me, having lost a parent and like had that experience, I do somewhat know like what to expect, and you can never prepare for it. But I know from losing my dad, like things I wish I had done, things I wish I had said, things that I wish that I had of his, or pictures I wish we would have taken, or things like that. And so I am being very intentional with like my mom, like, okay, like I wish that I had, voicemails that my dad left me that I could go back and listen to. So like, me and you recording this podcast, like as much as it's for everyone else, I know that it'll be for me one day, for me to listen to those conversations. Like we have photo shoots all the time, and her husband in particular is like, y'all are the most picture taking family I've ever seen. But it's because I know I'm going to want that stuff one day, you know? And so I don't think there's anything wrong or morbid about planning for it to kind of make it as easy as it possibly can be, because we know it's going to be hard, you know?
Right. And at some point, again, we have to face it. I am going to leave at some point. So we sort of made it sort of a bucket list of things that we wanted to make sure that we did, being intentional about doing these things. Because again, I want her to be able to look back on these memories, not being sad, but being like happy. Oh, we did get to do this, you know. Me and her and Harper have things that we want to do. So we want to capture all those things. And there's not anything sad about it. I just want to make sure that we are enjoying every moment that we possibly do have, because let's face it, tomorrow's not promised to any of us.
It's not.
So we just have to love each other and just make memories while we can.
Okay. That was good.
It was.
That was so good.
Y'all have such a solid relationship.
Love that.
Thank you.
Wow. Taken back. Okay, so I think that leads us to our next segment, friend.
Okay.
What is our next segment?
So our next segment is Mama Juice. And let me grab my drink. Yes. So So Mama Juice is my favorite segment of the show, because if you get to know me, you know I love cocktails. Now, I don't drink as much as people might think I do. I really don't. But I love cocktails. Like, there's just something about them that really just makes me happy. But it had to be a part of the show. So every episode we curate a drink to fit our guests. And today's Mama Juice is sponsored by Premier Pours, which is a luxury mixology company here in Atlanta. So they created this beverage. And we learned that you, Allison, like bubbly. So they did create a cocktail to fit your bubbly needs. So I'm going to read off the ingredients, and hopefully listeners and viewers, you all can make this cocktail at home.
And what is it called?
So it's called, I put that on my mama. And that's because obviously, you know, that's your mama, right? And we're the real mamas. We're all real mamas here. And we putting that on mamahood. But if you are getting this drink from Premier Pours, they actually call this rose colored glass. Because if you can see, we have a rosy colored look here with our drink. So I'm going to read off the ingredients. It has bitters. Okay, I don't know if do y'all know what bitters is?
Yes.
Yeah.
I learned doing Mama Juice.
Yes, it has bitters, fresh lemon juice, simple syrup, rosé sparkling wine, and it has a garnish of lime wedge. So it's real chill. You know, it is what it's called, a rose colored glass, but we're also putting it on Mama. And that's on Miss Cindy and Miss Allison today.
Cheers.
Yeah, so cheers to mamas.
Cheers.
Yes. And thank y'all for being here.
So if this is your first time listening, our next segment is Mama's Corner. And so this is my favorite segment because we get to connect with our listeners more as well as our guests. So this is an opportunity for our guests to write in and ask us questions, and we can give them advice based on a personal experience. We are no therapists. I know you are, but we're not certified people. Right. So if something doesn't work out, it is not our fault. We didn't say anything, but if it did, give us our credit, okay? But there's also times where we can be reflective, and I feel like this is an episode where we should be reflective because this is rare. I said that in the beginning, this is rare. So I got another question for y'all. Okay. So what are some tips that you can give to a mother-daughter duo who is starting over, who may have, you know, that broken relationship, but really want to get to the point where they can be friends again, where they can communicate, where things are positive? How can they get there?
I think, first of all, you need to start with a honest conversation. There are times in my life still that I look at myself in the mirror and take accountability for things I did and said. I didn't have that with my mother because it was like, if you don't talk about it, it never happened. But I believe in acknowledging what happened, what part I played in it, and then let's see where we can mend the fence from there. I think you have to take accountability first of all.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. I agree. I think that's one of those situations where even though it may be hard, you're going to have to take 2 steps back before you can take a step forward. And you're going to have to rehash some of the hard things. And I think that when it comes to rehashing those, like everyone needs to be heard. Everyone needs to be able to say their 2 cents. But if it comes to a place where we have to agree to disagree to move forward, that's okay too. Like we can say like, I felt like this based on what you did. I felt like this based on what you did. Okay, we've all gotten it out there. Maybe we don't agree, but let's move forward anyway.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
good. So, anything y'all want to plug? You can plug it now. Cindy, Allison, anything you want to plug?
I'm the plugger.
Anything you have going on?
I'm just a talent is what she calls
She's
me.
the talent. I'm the plugger.
Yeah.
When it comes to this mother-daughter duo, I say my mom just shows up and I pretty
Do
much
what I'm
do the
told.
same.
Yeah.
Of course, we would love it if you guys would check us out on the socials. We are at Kintsugi.conversations. I'm going to spell Kintsugi because I know y'all about to be like, huh? It's KINTSUGI.conversations on all the social platforms. She is at Cindy with a Y, CYNDI Mathis. People always spell it wrong, so I have to clarify. And I am at Allison with 2 L's, ALLISON Mathis Jones on everything. We would love to connect with you guys and keep this conversation going.
Yeah,
Definitely. This has
absolutely.
been so much fun.
Yes,
Oh, I
we
have
really
had a good time
enjoyed
with
y'all.
y'all.
We did.
Like,
we have to bring y'all
kick
back.
it after, even
Yeah.
outside of the
Yeah,
podcast.
outside the podcast, we got to get together
Let's do
because
it.
Miss
Yes.
Cindy is lit, honey.
Yes.
So, and I'm trying to get all the secrets because she is gorgeous. So also too, if you want to write us into Mama's Corner, please do that because y'all know I check them emails every day. You can email us at mama@therealmamapod.com. But this was lovely. We can't wait to have y'all back. We can't wait to do this again. I got all kind of ideas. So until next time, mamas.
Bye.